UFO phenomenon over the past 20 years.
All right, and we're back tonight with Gari Jones, this Friday the 13th, author of the Denbigh Lights, a truthful argument for the existence of UFOs. Welcome to Total Disclosure, Gary. So glad to have you.
Yeah, it's good to be here again. Thank you for having me back. So yeah, nice to be here.
So today so I figured why not, on Friday the 13th, get a little bit of a rundown of a case that I don't think the public is too aware. I mean, so they're aware of it, especially the UFO community, but to the general public, maybe the Denbigh Light event isn't so known about. It's not like the Roswells and the Zimbabwe and the air, all those Minot Air Force Base, those cases. So you just wrote a book, the Denbigh Lights. Like I said, we talked about that. So can you start by telling us why you chose to write this book and why this encounter specifically?
I just felt with the case, once I had all the evidence put together and I realized, we've got some pretty good video footage, really good, witness testimonies and evidence that just concludes that it is a very well put together investigation that concludes it's a UFO event. So I thought, it's not getting the credit it deserves. I think it should have a place in the UFO community. And I just thought there's enough here to put a book together. So I just decided, it's been a while since I actually put something in a book. So why not pick this case? Because there was plenty to go on. So I decided to bring it to the world and let people know that Wales has got a case that is kind of underrated right now. It's not getting the attention I think it deserves. I mean,
it reminds me of the Shag Harbor incident. Like, it doesn't get. Yeah, I mean, maybe not even that. Maybe that's not even a good comparison. But it's a case that the public kind of, they just whiz by. They want to hear about the more the like I said, the Roswells, the Varginhas, the beings and all that. And what they're missing is an actual credible case with data behind it. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to walk through that data and walk through the testimony. And I'd like to hear the story from start to finish as you tell it.
Well, I'll start at the beginning then and how it all got started.
Please.
Case, the date of the case and the location is January 3rd, 2012. It happened in North Wales, which is in the United Kingdom, if those who don't know the position of where it is. It happened in a nice little town area called Denbigh, which is part of Denbighshire County in North Wales. And it was around 3 a.m. in the morning. Picture the weather scene here now. It's a storm. There is an actual storm in the area. So winds are going up to 50, 60, sometimes 70 miles an hour. It's pouring down with rain. It's winter time, so temperatures are like 0 degrees or just above. And obviously, with the wind and the rain and the cold, it's not ideal conditions to be outdoors whatsoever. But a family of 4 who lived in the area. The first witness to this was a boy at the time named Nathan Thomas. He was 12. He was up late watching TV, just chilling in his room, very quiet at night.
Mm-hmm.
And he heard a bang outside his window, wondering what it was. And as he looked out, he realized that his bin, his big council rubbish bin had been blown over. And it was a big bin, it was one of those very big family-sized bins. So wind was quite strong to blow that over. But once he confirmed what it was, he looked into the distance, and he saw something that grabbed his attention, and he realized, well, is that a reflection from my TV? Is that coming from a light on the wall? He opened the window, and it was coming from the distance. And when he looked at it, it was a series of flashing lights that were unlike anything he'd ever seen. And he realized he was looking at, as he would describe it right then, a UFO. So he runs to the next door room where his brother was sleeping. This is Alex Thomas. He's 14 at the time. And he was trying to sleep. He'd been trying for a while. And I think he was just about getting to nod off. And his brother's like, hey, there's a UFO outside. And he's like, oh, don't wind me up, will you? And he's like, no, come see. And they both get up. And, Alex being like, tired now. The body's trying to rest. And then all of a sudden it's like, what's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you go from like, it's almost like a 0 to 60 moment.
It's probably like maybe 80, but
yeah.
But yeah, the interesting thing is that Nathan had been given a video camera for his Christmas presents, and it was right there. He grabbed it, and the two of them started filming it. And they started putting together like nearly 10 minutes of video footage. They're two separate videos, but together they combined to about 10 minutes. And you can clearly see in the video, which we do have here.
Yes. So do you want to play it?
Yeah,
I'll play one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, play one of them. So which one of them you want to bring up?
Yes, let me see.
I did list them as video 1 and video 2.
Look. There's no, I can see it through it. Look at the lights. Look at it. It's shaking all like.
Wow. That's amazing. I know, it's weird.
Shut up! Oh, can you stroke him, Alex? Should we send it to the post?
Have a look at it. Lights. That could be something like you. Man, if you got a time with a crop circle, do you reckon that's what's moving?
Yeah, Alex, if we upload this to YouTube, Alex, yeah?
That's amazing, though.
Would you reckon the Secret Service will take?
Shit.
Alex, look right now. See above it, Alex, you can see above it. Fine. Oh my god.
That is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
You might be like.
I'm seeing. What the hell could that be? That is amazing. I can see the saucer. Check him.
Which one?
Wow. What? I did not watch those videos. What? That looks like an oscillating, like it's sitting there oscillating in the distance. I mean, well, we have another video. I'm going to overlay it because I didn't upload to StreamYard in time. But I'll overlay it in a couple minutes, and I definitely now I'm super excited to go watch the other one after this is done. That was wild. I mean, you can clearly see something's oscillating and hovering in that one area. So I like how it's so recent where they're like, we're gonna upload this to YouTube and like if tomorrow we're gonna go check and see if there's a crop circle. By the way, did they go and check?
Wow, this is the interesting thing. The second video was the more advanced into the sighting. By then, they had gone to wake their mother up, Linda Pritchard.
Okay.
She was sleeping downstairs, and I think it must have been Alex who ran downstairs to wake her up. And it's like, mom, come and see this.
Right.
And she woke up instantly, because of the excitement in their voice, thinking, is there a fire in this house or something? And panicking. Well, then she goes upstairs to the window and sees it herself. And, the three of them are watching it this time. And then later on, there's another witness, Kira Lee George, I think her name is. Yeah, Kira George. She's Linda's granddaughter. And you can hear it in their voices when they listen. Nathan wants to upload it to YouTube or send it to the local press.
Yes. Yes.
Alex is like, is there going to be a crop circle? And if you listen to him, he says he can see the saucer. Because it's not just hovering like a vertical. Is that that's horizontal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's horizontal.
It goes into a more vertical position like this in the video. It goes from like a 40-degree angle. Their mother is like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And in the full video, you can hear them. They're actually, I think Alex is a little worried that maybe someone's, from the military might come and ask some difficult questions. Nathan is just all super excited. And I think Linda just, that is the most, they're all amazed. They've lived in this area up until that point, and even now, they've lived in this area their whole lives. I think Kira may have moved out a while ago, but up until that point, they've lived there a long time, and they've never seen nothing like it. Never. And the interesting thing about the video, excuse me, I got a bit of a cold. The interesting thing about the video is when I asked them questions in the interviews later on, they all wanted to see it again. Desperate to see it again.
That's something that I feel like it's something that happens in the UFO community, or we hear about it a lot, that, most studies show that these encounters, people want them to continue. Like they desperately want them to continue. It's not until you get into the abduction area where people are like, maybe not. But these sightings of these spectacular, like that video is it's amazing. You can clearly see something is remarkably peculiar. And now, does anyone do any correlation? Is anything in the night sky from the military? What can we say it's not?
Well, this is part of my investigation that I've done, and we can get into this now. I'd like you to bring up. Let me see. We've got the slides. If you can bring up slide 51.
51.
We can see that this is actually some analysis that was done on the some of the images taken from the actual video itself. The one on the left where you see no strobe aircraft lights are exhibited.
Yes.
And all the different sort of like filtered colors below. Yep. That's done by a man named Jason Gleaves. Now, he has a book. He does a number of books. He's a former RAF man. So he's been familiar with military aircraft. He's now become a pretty good, I would say excellent, actually is excellent investigator and analyst into analyzing footage and video and photographs and everything. Mm-hmm. And he's done a full 12-minute video on this on his own channel on YouTube, and he concludes that it's unexplainable, that it's not something that can be described as a helicopter or a plane or any kind of drone. And I look to the right there where you can see the sort of like yellow boxes there. Mm-hmm. I've just sort of highlighted some of the things that I could find when I analyzed this video myself.
Yeah.
You can see
the red light. I did not see that.
It does appear in there if you go a little more slowly through it. It does take time to maybe find it, but it is in there. It does make a regular appearance.
Okay.
But this is one of the better slides that I could get, and I was like zooming in and out and trying to see what I could see. I'm going to show you an interesting. I'm going to show you a really good one in a minute now. Okay, to upload it. But you can see there are like lights and much smaller lights, and as the craft is turning in its rotation, the lights are flashing, not in any kind of pattern you would recognize. I mean, when you see aircraft,
no, there's definition to their, and there's rhythm.
You can find the rhythm, but in this you just can't. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's non-repeating, and in a way that's telling in itself, if you will. which is remarkable. And that I mean, so this happens. So we know it's it's not the military. It's not a drone. This is 2012. Drone technology is still it's good in the military, but it's not widely available on the public sector yet.
No.
So I mean, this is now does the UK have any radar data that would corroborate this event?
Yes, I do have it in a slide. I was lucky to get this because, okay, which slide are we looking at here? Let me think. I have done a slide presentation on this, and I have actually put it all together. Now, where is it? Oh, do you know, I hate it when you can't find things. I do have radar data on it. It's in slide 37.
37. Okay. Okay, so nothing on the radar. Police
Okay,
were
now
contacted.
the top left there is an FOI that I sent off just to see if I could get some information on the case itself. I think I may have been asking for like the telephone call made by the family because they wanted someone to help them understand what they had seen. They called the police about, within a day of it happening, and they saw the video. They looked at it themselves, and they said it was ramblers. Now, for those who don't know what ramblers are, if you've ever been out at night hunting, ramblers are supposed to be these people who take spotlights or torches, and they reflect them in the creature's eyes. And
Okay.
the optical nerves and the irises and the eyes and everything reflect that light back, like cat's eyes kind of thing.
Right.
Makes them bright so they can see them. And of course, they will either go and capture an animal or, some cases they will kill the animal. But the ramblers in this country, as I understand it, it's not legal to do that. So it makes you wonder, if it's not legal, then why are you not pursuing a criminal case? If that's
Right.
the case.
Right.
But the two images you see on the right from planefinder.net, and these are radars taken from the time that this thing would have been visible. Now, like I said, it started around 3, and it lasted for about 15, 20 minutes maybe. We got 10 minutes worth of video footage, and there's
Wow.
nothing in the sky whatsoever. There's no planes, helicopters, aircraft,
Nothing that's
military.
transponding.
I think even military aircraft would have transponded if they were on a routine training flight or something.
Yes. So
If
nothing that's making a ping, of on any radar screen. So that's
No.
very interesting.
You have to understand as well that by the time I got involved in this case, it was like 6 years after the event.
Around
So
2018.
I got in, April 2018 is when I first met these people, and I saw the video, and I was just blown away because I've seen something like that myself from when I was a child. Although slightly different colored lights, it was very similar. The thing that I find amazing with planefinder.net is that they did have radar that would allow you to go back 6-7 years. They didn't care. Here's data for 6-7 years. I thought, great.
Yeah.
We can go and check this. And I managed to get just in time. But when I started working on the Penturk incident one, the other case that I've been doing over the years, they changed their policy. They went from giving you 7 years worth of data to a week. So 7 years to 7 days. Yeah, and then you could buy a subscription.
Oh,
then that would only
that
would only give you a year's worth. And I'm like, well, you've got 7 years worth going back here. You probably got more than that. But why are you changing your policy?
They wanted to get rid of data and flush the frames, if you will. But
I think that was a decision made by someone above.
So there's what's the other one? There's Sky Hub. I have it on my phone. Sky. It's one that you can. I don't know if you can go back. I wonder. That's a very interesting. I wonder if you can go back. I don't know what it's called. So
there's all kinds of I mean, this Flight Radar 24.
Flight Radar. Thank you. Flight Radar. Does that allow you to go back in time or no?
No, I've tried. I mean, most of them only ever do a week or a month, and then they ask you to subscribe, and they only do more than a year. And I'm like, well, where am I supposed to find anything further than that? I mean, you ask airports.
Yeah, you have to FOIA it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you fire it, they tell you, oh, we keep our systems we only keep our systems open for like 30 days or 3 months, and then it all gets wiped,
Then you need
unless
to
of course.
then you need to pay for a subscription.
Mm. But it's very difficult with international radar airports, with the radars there.
Yeah.
Although I think they would give you that information if they had it, but it's like by the time we get involved, it's like, do you have something from that day? I mean, I think they do have it. I just don't think they want to give it to us.
Yeah, I would
That's
say
the way I look at it.
that's a likely that's unfortunately the probability leans in favor of them having the data, because you'd have to I mean, you have to think that what's the nearest military base to there?
There's one in North Wales. I don't know the exact name of it, but there is an
Well, that
RAF base in North Wales.
if they got anything that pinged on radar, a track that they could verify, then they would do their due diligence, and they would either scramble jets. Now, do the witnesses ever did they hear jets that night? Did they hear anything else like military flights that happened? Is there anything that else the witnesses can say about what happened afterwards?
Okay, this would be a good point to bring in maybe slide 18 and slide. Can I ask you to bring up slide 18, 21, and 23, if you remember that?
18.
21.
I can't bring them all up at the same time.
Okay, well, can you do like one? Okay, but we'll make it slide 18 first of all.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can go to slide 21 after it.
Yep, just give me the cue.
Okay, that is the family as they were. The two left images are Alex and Nathan around the time of the event. So that's like 2012. They're grown men by the time I met them. They were like turning 18 or they
18,
were like 20.
yeah.
Yeah. The other two images you see on the right, the top right one is Linda. That's the mother. And the bottom one is Kira. And that was in 2018 when I were interviewing them. And I still keep in contact with them. We still talk online because I am trying to promote this case. I think they really want to see it.
Get this out there. Yeah.
I just like to show you some more of those images I put at the bottom there. You can see how it turns. That's not me tilting anything. That's just it doing that on its own.
Okay.
You can see some of the strange lights. Now, after seeing all of this, I mean, I've interviewed them, I've spoken to them, and I've had conversations off air, of course. And they're all just, is it ever going to come back? Are they ever going to see it again? Unfortunately, when Nathan started to talk about this afterwards, he was getting ridiculed with it, and the family have all been targeted for abuse. But I think Nathan, being the one who spotted it and recorded it, has had to, endure quite a bit more than others.
Right.
I'm not saying they haven't all had a bit of abuse, but I mean, I think Nathan, because he was so excited about it, and he found that the community was rather cynical in that regard. But if I take you to slide 21.
Peter Glynn, the local investigator.
They wanted someone to actually look into this, and they didn't know where to go, really. But I think the family knew of someone in the area who had an interest in this subject and actually done some of his own work in the past. And Peter Glynn lived somewhere close. And they contacted him, showed him the video, and he was very convinced that this was a very solid video. And began to investigate. He did video interviews with the family. You can see there in the little box on the right. That's the genuine UFO sighting, Denbigh Wales. That's him interviewing the family. He did like 8 videos in total, and some are like a few minutes long. Some of them are like a minute or two, showing certain bits of evidence he collected. But I thought it was a very good, good sit-down interview and local investigation. And I came along in 2018. I thought, well, you've got some good stuff here. You've actually collected some good evidence. I just know I can expand it further by looking at military and, doing comparisons and getting this footage analyzed and stuff. So it was really just a case of really expanding on what had already been done and other things that have been, haven't been looked into yet. So, I mean,
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
Go to slide 23. This is just some of the things that were being done.
Okay,
Now, this
so
is
we
Peter.
have. Yep.
Yeah. These are some of the other videos I've listed. Just box your screenshots so you can see that, he was doing his work. He went to the window, get some daytime, nighttime photos.
So what we're seeing here in the field, is that the same, or is it the housing structures where the video was taken?
Okay, yeah. This is the view from the window. This is how it looks in the daytime. It's a little difficult at times to try and match up where exactly the lights appear in the day and nighttime. But he did that.
There's no like trees obstructing it, and I thought there
No.
was like it looked like there was something in front of it.
Yeah, that I always wondered that, but I think that's just the way the lights are. Because when the family described the lights, it's like they look like it looks like a light, like a light strike, like you see a light in a torch or something. Not as bright as like a real torch, but it looks like it's underwater or something. It's twinkling underwater. You ever seen lights under the water, surface of water?
Yes.
It was like, anyway, the video that the two images on the right, Peter's tried to line the sight all and know, okay, I wonder where we can select some areas which might, if this is something on the ground or this is human activity, these are the areas likely to be. Excuse me. Now you see him with his camera and his friends who are looking around for signs of human activity. The thing they found was a little tire track there, or I think maybe a tractor or a Jeep or something on the bottom right.
Yeah.
That's only just going to a place, but it's not like you would be circling around and tilting lights in from a horizontal to vertical position and flashing in a way that doesn't correspond to anything. And
no, not really. No, I wouldn't say so. That's very, very, very peculiar though. Because
oh my
like
God.
I said, who is the kid on the video that says, I can see the disc?
Alex.
So can Alex, how does Alex describe, because obviously we all know that like our vision versus even nowadays in 2023, the camera versus what our eyes see, it's virtually like it's day and night, right? From what your eyes can see to what a camera can see.
Yeah.
So what
I know
does
what you mean.
he describe seeing? Does it have panels on it? Can he see any detail aside from the light looking like it's underwater?
They describe the shape they see with their eyes because the camera's not picking it up as well as their eyes are. I think today's modern cameras would be much better in nighttime.
Better, yes.
Yeah, but this is a Camellia S30. I can't remember the name. Toshiba, I think, made it at the time. At the time, it was a nice handheld camera, but at nighttime, it wasn't. I do have an image of it if you want to bring it up.
Yeah, please.
It's on slide 11.
All right.
Slide 11, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't?
And I'll just tell you what he described. They describe an oval-shaped craft. So
Mine
it's like
mine goes 8, 9, 10, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. What happened here? I don't know what happened. Something weird.
I don't know. But
so it just happens that we don't have that one. Unfortunately,
do you have slide 25? Do you have slide 25?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me just explain. What they describe is an oval-shaped object, disc but oval rounded, kind of like an egg, if you will, oval shape.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see it here.
They describe a red light on top. Sometimes they're describing that the object is not just rotating; it's kind of tilting forward and backwards. You can see the under and over side of it.
Right.
The interesting thing about all of they say like Alex would describe the lights like flashes, like lightning or something.
Really?
Kira described it like shimmering of water, like it was underwater. I think they even describe it like a mini explosion, if you will.
Okay.
They all have their own unique explanations for it, but they all describe in the similar context. Now, what you're seeing there is a man named David Williams. He lives next door to these. He did at the time. I'm sure he's still there now. He lived next door to them, and he saw the video himself. And that little iPad he's got there, he was able to take a still image of the video.
Mm-hmm.
And I still haven't been able to replicate this, but that is actually it there. I've just sort of inverted the color to bring up more details. You can see that the orange, there's a red light on top.
There's something on top, yeah.
Yeah, there's a red light on top, which seems to be it seems to be more like make like two lights, or there's a gap between the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
You see the big bluish, whitish lights in the middle there,
mm-hmm.
and you can see the smaller ones around it. There is sort of something underneath around the 7 o'clock position. That's just Peter recording off the screen. You can't see it in the bottom right and top right images. And I asked him, how on earth did you do that? He said, well, what I did was I just took a screen. The video as it is wide angle, as it is as you're seeing it from the video. Screenshot, zoom in, enhance screenshot, zoom in, enhance screen, and it just created this lovely shape. And if you look closely at some of it, you can see that you may be able, in the blue one there, you can see the dome.
Yeah,
maybe you can see it from the red light to the edges. You can maybe see outlines of the way the color shimmers around the object itself. And I suppose if you look towards the bottom right of the inverted part, you might see like a shadowy black thing underneath. If you look over to your left, I mean, if I had a mouse, I'd highlight all this, but you can see like what seems like a flat edge of it. This thing has got shape and definition, and you can even make out some of the details. It's a little hard to see when you're first looking at it. But if I had a mouse and an ability to zoom more,
but I can see what you're saying though. I have it in full screen,
but
so
I give credit to David.
Definition.
I give credit to David on this one. I said I have tried so hard to get that one. I can get the red light on top. If you go to slide 27.
Let me get there. Yes.
I mean, again, you saw this image earlier, but the bottom left one is another one I've tried. You can see it's got 4 lights again, 4 big ones in the bottom left. You can see the red light on top as well.
Yeah.
You can even see in the top right, again, another enhancement, and I've inverted the color underneath just to see if I could find things. An interesting thing, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe it was in the other one. Can you see in the bottom? Maybe in the bottom right, it's more predominant, but you can see in that little cluster of lights to the right side of it, like a triangle shape.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so distinctive.
It is distinct
in my eyes. You can see it. I don't even need to point it out. You can see. I tell you where to look, but you can see it for yourself. I mean, that seems to be like that seems to be some sort of fixture or some sort of some sort of part of its design. I mean, there are dozens of lights on this craft, and some of them are all going off at once. Some of them are not even. It's only the big ones you see. In the full video, there are times it's hypnotic.
It truly is. Yeah. So. I mean, this has got to be a life-changing experience. Now, was this a particularly religious family? And, did their views, what do they think they saw that night? Do they think they saw a craft that was reverse engineered? I mean, we know about all the stuff that's happening in the United States right now with David Grush, reverse engineering. Do they think what they saw was otherworldly, or do they think this could have been man-made?
I'm sure if you sat down with them and had a chat, they would probably say the possibility would exist it's man-made, but I would probably say they lean more to it being not from this earth.
Yes.
To them, it just, if we can make it, maybe we can, but just for them, experiencing it, watching it, and looking at it in real time. Obviously, we've got video footage, but seeing it, it did something that, obviously, you're just in awe of it. It is just an amazing thing. And even at the end, and they're not a religious family. No, I don't think they are. I don't believe they're religious. I've never seen them mention God or Christian sort of things. I
always like to see how
a
nice
it affects
family. They're very
people's
nice family. Faith. Yeah, I always like to see if it affects people's faith.
No, if anything, it's definitely changed their views. They know they're real now.
That's
You
the
know?
one, that's the one thing. Like I did see something as a child, and that's why I'm interested. But it was so long ago that sometimes I don't remember if I'm constructing the memory to a degree. So,
Hmm.
it's like I didn't have a camera, and I wish I could have an experience where I could document it and be like, this is my, like, to have that degree of confirmation again. It's something only a handful of people in the world have. And I just, again, we seek it out, and
And we never find it.
and we never find it, right? And these people, just one night, the wind happened to blow over a trash barrel that
I know.
happened to set
I
this
know.
boy on the path of seeing this thing.
Yeah.
And what's odd to me? The timing. The time, 3 a.m., seems to be something that is a recurring theme. Between 3 and 4 a.m. is when a lot of sightings take place. Do you think, to speculate to a degree, do you think there's any correlation with that?
I thought about this myself, and I have to say, I think there possibly is. I can't
They
say
call it the
exactly
witching
what.
hour,
There's a special time, yeah, in the dark when the Earth is supposedly at its darkest moment, away from the sun or something
Right.
like that. I mean, if you look at the longest days of the year, well, I mean, the sun goes down about what, maybe 10 a.m., 10 p.m., 9, 9:30, 10 p.m., depending on where you are. Yeah, but it's a very long, and it comes up around 5 o'clock. So, you're talking that 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock hour. Yeah, the light starts coming back around the Earth, or, especially the
Yeah.
longest days here, because solstice day is a very powerful day. And I
Mhm.
often wonder, yeah, because I would say this. There's an ancient castle in Denbigh, and a month after this event, there was a sighting of a disc there. And someone did get a photograph of it, and I'll go to that in just a second because I want to bring this up. I don't know if you've ever heard of ley lines
Yes, of
or
course,
arbor
of course.
points. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, in our country, someone has put together a map of what we call arbor points. These are things you find on the mountains, up in the high peaks. And they're supposed to be, according to the ancient pagans, especially in the religions of that time, where the energies of the earth, they're energy all over the place, but there are places where
Where
they
they
are,
converge.
yeah, they converge or they funnel, kind of like your body's full of blood, and they're like main arteries and
Right,
veins that
right, right,
go off. It's
right.
like that in a way. That's the way I could describe it. But when you look at when you see somewhere where these lines are going, Denbigh runs across right across one of them. Or it goes into a central hub in Sheffield, which is on the same sort of latitude or longitude or whatever it is in maps. But that is something I find interesting, because if you go to let's go to slide 5. I hope you got it.
Yes.
There we go. Luckily I had this
Wow.
saved. I don't know.
That's the picture. Is that the? Wow.
No, this is a month after.
No. That's what I mean. Is that a close up of the above picture?
Yeah. There's two. I found this very early on in 2000, and no, not very early on. Yeah, very early on in 2016
Let me guess.
I found that very early on in 2016 because I was investigating a UFO called the Penturk incident. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one, but I came
No.
across. I'll explain that very quickly. It's a very big case, that one. Definitely up there with the Roswells. Anyway, this is a picture of a Denbigh Castle. It's quite an ancient ruin now. It's still standing, but most of it's pretty much gone. But there have been UFO sightings, folklore, myth stories of like dragons and people slaying strange animals. And of course, there have been stories of people who have been hit with beams of light burning. It's in I mentioned these in the book. But that one there is by a man named Graham Evans. It was in the media, Denbigh media, and printed in the local paper. And this was a month, February 1st, just a month after the Denbigh Lights itself. And Denbigh Castle is not too far away from where these family live.
Right, and if
I
you
mean,
look
it's
at this craft, if you look at this craft and kind of superimpose it over the other, you know, maybe the shape of it could be very similar to what was seen. You
yeah.
know, this is obviously we're just not seeing the lights, you know, coming on. For whatever reason, in the nighttime, the lights would be on. So I'm surprised they didn't try to say this is a hole punch cloud.
Be very difficult to call that a hole punch cloud, considering how definitive the disc is. There are two pictures of it actually, but this is this is a good close up of it, and the one that was put in the paper.
So he was
Anyway,
walking around Denbigh taking pictures of several locations for a video that he was making. It was about 2:30 p.m. He reached Leicester's Church by Denbigh Castle, said Mr. Evans. I was just about to take the picture when an object suddenly appeared in the sky, moving very quickly from left to right. So this thing was moving left to right. Okay.
yeah, he's. I've never actually spoken to this man. I'm sure I may have seen his video somewhere, but I know he lives in this area or did live in this area. He was taking pictures and taking things, and then there it was. You know, he saw it moving and staying still, and he managed to capture these images. And I guess if it wasn't for these images, he wouldn't have been able. But like I said, it's a month after. From the family's window, you can see Denbigh Castle, and up in the area where it may have been located is where you can see Denbigh Castle. Now, it's interesting that after a major sighting like this, there are always other sightings that take place, which I've always learned about. Now, I'm just gonna. This is the
Like
book.
a UFO flap.
I want to show you that close up. This is an illustration by Jason Gleaves. Actually, you see those lights there?
Yes.
In his original, yeah, you got it there. Yeah, in the original analysis that he done, that particular image there that you're seeing is you're talking about overlays and captures or time references. I'm not sure exactly what he done, but it's like he was able to. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess it's like a time lapse or a lengthy exposure or something of trying to figure out what this thing does. And that picture there is maybe a good representation of how he caught it. If you go to slide, where is it? 48. Yeah, that one on top there, look, Denbigh Wales 2012. That's just like his his idea of how it may have been moving or something. It's a very interesting way in which he's done that. But anyway, you can see on the bottom there, the frame shows a distinct elliptical shaped formation. And I just wanted to show you the daytime sighting there, because on the bottom right, you can see that's exactly where it was.
Wow.
If you overlay day and night, because he's really good at, scaling pictures. Because, some people's take widescreen, some people do 1x1 or 4x3 or 16x9 or 16x10. So you're stretching the pixels, and the pixels are stretching the images that you're seeing. So he's been able to really put this into the correct way. And if I bring up slide.
Well, he did some good work here, because this is
he's
a very good representation.
Yeah, I want to go to slide 39 and slide 40. So if you do 39 first.
39.
This is a further testimony and just details of the craft. The bottom right picture is Linda. She's walking me around a field called Kai Howell. If you saw the houses in the original images, there's a field, a big, large playing field behind it. And she was under the impression that instead of the craft being way up, we're going to take a look at this in a moment, because this is all part of the analysis and comparisons that I've done. But this is Kai Howell Field behind the houses in the distance you see from where you just saw the previous image.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought the craft was behind those houses or just around that area. And she wasn't far off, really. She wasn't really all that wrong. But you can see there's a school. There's a corner of the road, and as you see, the image on the top there is the, let's see, yeah, you can see a rounded, oval-shaped thing with lights around the center with the red light on top. That's her drawing.
That is an immediate stick out, is the top light. That's amazing.
what kind of craft has that? I mean, we know these things have red lights, but they don't act like that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's amazing.
So I like I said, I call myself a field researcher as well, or field investigator, because I like to go to these places. I like to look around myself. I want the people who have lived there, especially if they've been there a long time. Tell me, just tell me, why is it not? Why does it stand out?
Why is it peculiar? Yes, exactly.
And if we go to slide 40, was that the one? Yeah, should be. Okay. This is the yellow circle represents where we were standing. Again, the three arrows, like the three red lines you're looking at there, are lines that I use for measurement and distance on Google Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, well, this is a good way to reference it. And the lines all converge at their home, the window.
So the lines converge at the lower
bottom
part
left
of the screen. At that's the line of sight from the window.
Yeah. Now, as you follow it up, I asked them, I mean, how big do you think it was? I mean, 60, 70 feet wide is what I got. So I thought, well, that's a reference I'm going to use, or maybe a little bit bigger. And the yellow circle is somewhere where they thought maybe, or especially Linda may have thought it'd been. She wasn't far wrong. She may have been right. I mean, but what's interesting is when I use the overlay of Jason Gleaves' image, and I use their location, and I use Google Earth, and I used my knowledge of the area after being shown what was there. Those three lines at the top, at the 12 o'clock position, top middle there.
Yep.
You can see where they've stopped in the middle, and I've put a red line across it. It measures across at 26.71 meters. So I'm guessing if this thing is 70 feet wide, it's got to be within that little patch of land there behind the school, or just behind, across the road from the Kai Howell area. So we're getting very close to where this thing was.
Yes.
And I mean, these are things I did for the case. You know, I thought, well, there's a lot we can really do here. And I just thought, you know, we've got brilliant video, brilliant witnesses, brilliant testimony, you know, an analysis by Jason Gleaves, expert video analyst, an RAF man too, so he knows about these things, and the stuff that Peter Glynn had done, and then everything else I could add on top. So why not write a book on it?
No, this is a very well researched and investigated case. I mean, so I really like the visual representation because it does give you that, you know, it's almost it allows me to see the playing field, right? It allows me to see what the area looks like, what they might have saw from a distance. So that was really great. So and the military base that's close to that area. Is it known if there's any nuclear connection to that base?
I don't believe so, no. But there are. No. Do you know? I don't believe any base in North Wales has, or any Wales base, RAF base has nuclear weapons. The only ever one, publicly. We do have nuclear power stations along those areas. What I would say is I know what you're getting at, because I know with Rendlesham and many other cases where nuclear bombs or nuclear weapons, or
nuclear technology in general, right?
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it's there is this common theme, right, between, you know, even guys like Lou Elizondo have said it, between water, nuclear, and UFO sightings. You know, is there a body of water near there? A large one?
Well, North Wales goes out to the sea.
Goes out to the sea, of course, naturally. So
there's
that's very interesting.
Well, there's a case. I mean, North Wales is, to me, I mean, doing my years of research and figuring all this stuff out, I've come to realize that Wales, we're a small country. I mean, some of your states are bigger than our country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
America.
Yep.
But when it comes to UFO sightings, my God, we've got so many.
People forget. You know, people always say this is like, oh, why are all the sightings in the United States? That's not the case. It's just that we have the most people reporting them.
Yes, that's very true.
It's a data bias. Yeah.
In North Wales, there's a lot of sightings being recorded. of course, I mean, this one here, I'm just going to hold it up again. That's available on Amazon, so please buy a copy and leave a review if you would,
the
please.
link for it will be in the description below.
Yeah.
It'll bring you right to Amazon so you can buy it.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic book.
And I'll leave links for you for the presentation video that I did for Newport on this case. And, of course, the video, the documentary I made as well for that.
You
That
made
contains a lot.
You made a documentary for this?
I did my own one. I went to interview the family. I videotaped the grounds, photographed it, did all the analysis work, and I put it together. You know, that was my original thing. That's what I wanted to do for them because to me it was fun to do it.
Yeah. I'm doing something similar right now. So, with Mario Woods.
I think it's I mean, I don't have a production team or anything. You know, I got a computer, I've got a camera, and I've got a good brain. So let's go, and I've got the will to do it.
Yeah.
But
well, if you ever need any help, let me know. I'll fly over the pond.
Oh, I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, seriously.
I might do actually because I'm not sure now.
I have enough equipment to arm a small TV studio, and I do investigate. I work with MUFON in Boston.
Well, just to put it out there, then I mean I'm sure. I'm not going to say yes to this, but I'll ask them. But I'm sure if someone was willing to put a documentary together and make it go on some sort of network, I'm sure they would agree to be interviewed by you. But I'll have to ask. But there needs to be, and I'm sure they'll give you access. I mean, although I'm playing the footage, this has been done for non-monetary gain. So if anybody's going to make money off it, there's a copyright issue there.
There is, of course, yes.
But. North Wales has so many cases. There's the Bear Wynn.
You brought one up. You brought another case up that you said is very interesting. Okay, so the Pentrick incident, which is
Penturk.
Sorry.
You say pen, and then you say Turk, like jerk, but Turk,
Penturk.
Well, it's proper
incident.
Yeah, well, it's proper pronunciation probably like Penturk, but that's the Welsh tongue you gotta have for that. The Penturk is fine. But no, that's South Wales. I'm only mentioning that one because that happened on February 26, 2016 in South Wales. And that one involved a giant pyramid, triangular craft, military, things being shot down, witnesses.
No way.
Seriously. Kaz Clark, if you haven't seen it, go look it up. We've had many people, podcasters in America, talk about this.
Kaz Clark? Can you, what is that?
That's it, but this camera will pick it up. Her name is Kaz Clark. She's a primary witness. There's quite a few of them now. We do have a YouTube page called The Penturk Incident if you want to go check it out. There's a website called thepenturkincident.com. I will make these links available to you, so when you see them, you can look at it yourself. But that case is what got me started really doing much wider, more field research investigations because this case has gone global and it's really big. And that there is a picture of that's a picture of, well, I can't go into all detail because I want to continue on with the other one. But after there was a military buildup, spy planes or search planes looking at the area. They seemed to understand that something was going to show up. And then all this other military lot came along with Air Force, helicopters, gunships, and flipping jets and everything. Then they had military on the ground. We know one of the things one of these things here. February 26, 2016. We know one of these kind of craft, a smaller craft, that 15 to 20 of them came out of the larger one. One of them was shot down in the woods, not about 5 miles away. And anyway, there's been a large investigation into that one, and it's really gaining a lot of traction. But this one here, like I said, the Denbigh Lights, I was working on this one at the same time I was working on the other one because I felt that was a brilliant case with video evidence. But there are other cases as well that I've also found. These are not my ones, but I have one called the Bear Wynn Mountain that happened in 1974 in a place called Llandrillo, I believe is a village there. Forgive me if I get that wrong. Forgive me, but it's in the book. So that involved a large explosion, people being woken out of their beds or violently scared by
violently.
What was that like?
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
some people got in contact with me and said their family were living in that area, said they felt some sort of pressure wave, like a shock wave kind of thing. And
interesting.
Yeah. So what happened then is the neighborhood, obviously the village and people living there, wanted to go out and find what was going on.
Right.
So they
Naturally.
decided they're looking around, and within no time at all, it seemed like the military were on the scene and knew where to go. Now,
This
they
is
wouldn't
much like
think.
the Virginia case, where it's
Yeah.
almost like they're there before anyone can even.
Yeah, they seem to know where to go and what they're
Right.
doing. And the Berwyn Mountain has roads going up there. It's a series of mountains there, but the Berwyn Mountain is the one that everyone knows. Anyway, long story short on this one, the military was sending people to another mountain thinking that their plane had crashed there, giving them that impression, I believe.
Of course.
They also then... there was a lady named Pat Evans, I believe. She was driving with her 2 teenage daughters up on the mountain range, the roads through there. She saw a large orange spherical object of some kind, and her daughters saw it too. And the military seemed to be shining lights on it, taking notes, maybe examining it in some way.
Is there any
anyway,
video of this?
I don't think so. It later took off. It later took. Well, it's 1974. Who knew a camera?
Wait. I'm thinking we're talking 2016 still.
Oh no, not that time. Well, if you're on about that case, yeah, they tried to film. Kaz Clark and people tried to film that, but the phones wouldn't work. They switched off. It's like something was interfering with it. Like I said, that's a big case. That would take me like hours to really go into the big details.
Okay, so now we're back on
Berwyn Mountain, North Wales.
Yes.
But yeah, I was just giving you a history of some of the cases in this area.
Okay.
But that was a really good one. And Pat was later interviewed and people talked to her, but I think in the end she got sick and tired of talking about it because there was a lot of ridicule surrounding her as well, which is typical of people in this world. I mean, for God's sake, grow up.
Especially back then. It wasn't something. It was something that was still being denied by the government. It was something that was, actively being engaged by the government to discredit and disgruntle people from coming forward. We know this. It's just a fact. So, I think Wales is rich in history, and could there be a deeper tie to why these UFOs are seen in that area?
I'll get into that now because this is going to tie into what this will tie in. Starting around page 45, I have another case that I came across. This was in 1979. I actually met one of the original witnesses during a trip up there. What happened? This is in Llanellamedd, so very Welshy name. But it was behind a residential area on farmland, and it was daytime actually, or it was getting dark, I believe. The sun was starting to go down. I think it was early years as well, like January, February time.
Okay.
I can't remember these. The exact date. Have I got it for here? Oh yeah, November 5th, 1979. This one involved like a rocket or bullet-shaped thing coming out of the sky and landing in a field, sort of obscured by the dip in the banking below. But 3 occupants, 7 feet tall, came out of this thing, and they were wearing these sort of like radiation-looking suits, the kind you find in nuclear spills.
Yes, of course.
And one of them, and this case was very well investigated by Bufora, which is like the British UFO Research Agency or Association of that time. I do have links to it in the book, and I have the report that was made of it. And I just thought it was a very, very unique case. Again, North Wales. And, this is like an image of the actual description of it here.
Wow.
That's on page 45.
Can you hold that up one more time?
Yeah, let me just get back to it. Sorry, I didn't realize you wanted to.
That bears a striking resemblance to something I've seen before.
Yeah, so
not myself personally, but a different case.
This has been seen a lot of times. I mean, Netflix are doing a series on West Wales.
Yeah.
The Broadhaven one.
Yeah.
Broadhaven, the triangle.
Broadhaven Triangle, yeah. Because where I live in Boston, we have the oh my God, the Bridgewater Triangle. I feel like everywhere has a triangle, But
yeah, this is very odd indeed. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just the way things line up on a map. But it's interesting that the triangles have some very sort of fractal geometry kind of look to it.
Well, there's some sacred geometry,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sorry.
I've been looking further into, you know, like people like Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock and that all that stuff, as well as sacred geometry and the more, you know, could there have been ancient cultures that were more advanced in a different way that we would call advanced. Like we think of as advanced as technology, right? Like technology, like what we're talking on right now. But could they have had more advancement in other areas where like we're only now rediscovering? So you know, it's an interesting thought, and Wales is rich in history. I mean, the area just itself.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna mention something here that's always coming up. I mean, when we talk about geometry and you talk about lengths and triangles, obviously we're talking about mathematics. And when you talk about ancient Sumeria, this is a culture that just came out of nowhere in a very short space of time. You know, I mean, it took a century or two or whatever, but
in the cosmic scheme, it kind of just popped up. Yeah.
I mean, just you know, I mean, for millions of years or whatever, we're wandering around from place to place trying to hunt and gather, and then all of a sudden, we just, in no time at all, within a few decades or centuries, they've developed, the Sumerians, this unbelievable mathematics, the hexadecimal system, I think it's called, involving the number 60. And with that, they're mapping stars, they're mapping constellations, they're understanding the movement of planets. They're coming up with, I mean, in Japan, I'm seeing, in China, the kids use these little abacus things, you know, these little, well, they got little beads on them, little bits of plastic,
it's an abacus,
abacus, and they can do mathematics faster on that than a calculator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen 8 or 10-year-olds do that now with their heads. You know, they can. It's like, you know, so many billions times this, and you know, minus whatever. Like, and it's like, yeah, that's what it is. And all I'm saying is, right, maybe they didn't have the technology like electronics and digital and stuff like that, but maybe they understood something with mathematics and the spiritual essence of things, and you know, the physical surroundings, I guess. Maybe that's
right. And I hate to say it, like call it magic, but you know, in these texts and in these religions that are created out of this, there's much talk about you know, a magical, you know, a more magical era of the world, one that we think is now all just folklore and fairy tale. But could it have been more real than we think? You know, using sound and frequency to lift objects. Could that be a technology? We know now that there is something to resonant frequency. 0-point energy is another thing that I've become very, very, very hyper focused on. So what are your thoughts on some of those aspects of the phenomena? Because we're not just talking about UFOs here. I want to get a little bit more broader with you, but
I lean towards pretty much what you're saying there with sounds and frequencies and resonance and stuff like that. I've seen some really interesting videos where people have been able to do some pretty impressive things with just sound. I mean, I've seen one levitate, bring, you know, attract things without magnets. I mean, I've even seen one guy using sound. He didn't even know how he done it. I guess it was just magic, but he would use like a little sound device. He tuned it into a frequency with some sort of coil inside this little metal ball, and he'd stick it in a bowl of water, and he'd boil it with sound.
Boil it with sound?
He boiled water with sound, and he could literally boil it. You know what I mean? It didn't use heat or, you know, some sort of stove or electric kettle. This is just him putting his hand on it like this. Yeah, nothing. Stick it in a bit of water, and off it went. You know, it boiled it very quickly as well.
That's amazing.
And I mean, I've seen stories about Coral Castle, Edward Lee Scallion. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a man who's yeah, years ago I came across it myself, but I mean, as the story goes, and this story has, I don't think the story's ever been that refuted. He was able to move these huge stone blocks, like a ton or 2 ton or 3 ton. I think the biggest one may have been 5. And he's building this place all by himself.
Mhm.
And some people are sort of like curious, trying to get a vantage point of what he's doing. And they would describe him using a device. And these like 2 things he would attach on the end of a rock or there. And he would just levitate huge things on his own. That's just going by the stories. The Coral Castle's real. You can see it for yourself, and everybody knows. He didn't use winches or forklifts or flatbed trucks or some sort of heavy lifting hydraulics. He just did it all himself. And within no time at
Wow.
all, there it is.
Wow.
So and I think some people did press him on this. So how did you do this? I mean, the word is you didn't use any of that stuff I just said. He says, "Oh, I just discovered the secret of the ancients." He wouldn't share it because I think he knew people would abuse it. But that
Wow.
is definitely something I'm very impressed
Yeah.
with.
And we know that these alternative energy devices they've become, something that's being talked about more and more frequently in the mainstream, because of, just the topic becoming more mainstream. What do you think about everything that's going on in the current sphere of UFOs in the United States government specifically?
I think there is a plan for disclosure, but it's being done at a steady
Process.
pace. Yeah, process. Yeah. I think people like us would just say, "Can you get to the end stage, please?" We kind of went through the process a long time ago. But obviously, they're using new language, non-human biologics and non-human intelligence and unidentified aerial phenomena. I think what they're literally doing right now is they're just confirming what we've already known for a long time, that yes, they're real. Yes, they've been crashed. Yes, you've recovered them. And yes, you have actually probably set up places for back engineering. It's David Grush, I think, along with the guy from the Nimitz encounter, I forget his name.
Fravor.
Is that the pilot?
The pilot is Fravor, and then he's a friend, and Kevin Day is he was the radar operator that vectored. He's a good friend of mine, like a really good friend. I've actually stayed at his house. He's the one who vectored the flight, so he's the one who was like, guys, I've been tracking these things for days. We need to go see what they are. So, yes,
Yeah,
Fravor is the pilot.
What can you say? You got pilots who are coming forward telling you the technology is unlike anything we've ever been able to replicate, or we could. His jet at the time was supposed to be state of the art, and this thing was
the best of the best.
Yeah, this thing was making him look like, it was like, I guess it's like lasers and photon beams versus a Stone Age catapult,
Right.
So anyway, I think Trump, before he left office,
he
did sign an executive order. Yeah, he told them, look, you're going to disclose everything you know. I think I understood that there was a report released in June of 2021 where they actually said certain amounts of UAPs, they've only been able to identify one
out of 140 cases.
I was discussing this before. I do believe they've actually upgraded that report now, and I think they've added a number to it. It's more like up to 300 now.
300 and something, 360 or something like that.
That's kind of gone under the radar rather quietly, if you ask me. That's quite significant because that's a confirmation of things you and I have been looking into for years, and people have denied it. So I think we're at the stage now where you can't deny it. They know it's real. It's time that people started asking questions of the government. I know here in the UK that's not going to happen because
which disappoints me. It really does, because I've had Congressman Burchett on the show. I've talked to not my congressman, but a congressman of a completely different state who was supposed to run and kind of ran the UFO hearing. He was instrumental in its conception and its follow through. I was able to sit with him and talk about it, So Like, why isn't that happening in your country?
Oh, to be honest with you, I've noticed a serious downward trend of complete ignorance in all areas of life in the UK. I mean, where I live in Wales, I mean, we're getting this impression now. I wouldn't call it an impression anymore. For me, our government has just become a dictator. They're telling us what to do. I mean, they just recently passed a law over here that 20 miles an hour is now everywhere. You know, in towns and cities and certain areas of the country. You know, I mean, we've had a 20-mile-an-hour law for schools and, you know, like hospitals and stuff, because you're dealing with very fragile and sensitive areas where kids and people could. But what I'm trying to say is that we didn't ask for it. We didn't give us a vote on it. They just did it
onto you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, but I mean, the Welsh government's a joke, to be perfectly honest with you. We call it's like everything the World Economic Forum wants. The leader of this country just seems to sign off on it. Mark Drakeford just goes, "Yeah, go on, yeah, we'll do that, and we'll do that too, and we'll do that too." And I know, if I can mention this, you know, I mean, there's an organisation that I have been helping. It's called Public Child Protection Wales. Just to cut a long story short, I know you have problems with this in your country too. It's where they're trying to sexualize children with a new type of sex education system. Yep. Not the current one, but this new one they're bringing in now. Yes. And it's already having a detrimental effect on children's mental health. They're getting confused. They don't know what they are. You know, they're being told. I mean, there are kids now who are identifying as animals, and the teachers or the people they hire.
And they go along with it like it's some normal thing. It's like, no. We as a society, we all agree that children do not know what they want, and they do not know what they need, and that's why their parents are around, right, for the first 18 years, because they need the guidance, right? They're learning who they are up all the way until 22, 23 years old. We should not be telling them that they can they can change they can alter their body in any way. We don't let them drink beer in most countries until they're 21. You should not be able to alter your body until that age as well.
Exactly. It's the same with a license to cars, buying certain products over the counter. Right. You know, you got to be of a certain age to get these things.
Right.
The point is, even when you want to get married or legally have kids or something, I don't know. Yes. We ask for licenses and certain. We say why. Well, the point I'm making is right. The Public Child Protection Wales wanted to have a conference or a meeting about this. They had to get so many signatures for a certain thing. They got those signatures in a short space of time. The government said, whatever, we're not going to follow the legal channels we set up. Then they took them to court, and they actually got a judicial review. That means, you know, a judge has looked at this thing that they're trying to do without our consent. They didn't ask us, they just did it. And they said there's some serious concerns here, and we need to have a look at this. And then there was a big court case and a big thing about it. But you know, I think the judge never really gave it a fair process. They tried taking it. Yeah. I think they wanted to take it. They tried getting an appeal that was denied. Then I think they were looking at the bigger courts in the land, and they said, well, we don't think you're going to be able to fund this case over a long period of time, given the cost of the funds and everything. So they just denied it, and they've been rolling it out in places. I mean, the thing that worries me is that we're telling you we don't want it. We don't ask for it. This is the mentality I'm getting to now, right? I'm not discussing the full detail of this. It's that with the 20 mile an hour, the 15-minute cities, the green agenda, the sexual education RSE thing, we didn't ask for any of this, and you're just doing it. And it's the same with England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, the country as a whole. ULEZ in bloody London, I mean, that went down well. They're chopping all the cameras down over there. The point is, it's like when it comes to anything that the public is asking for, they do the opposite. Anything that harms the public, they do. We can ask for, it's like there's been a big buzz around all this now. I mean, I even wrote to my damn MP about all this. You know, maybe we should set up some kind of office, or would you support? I should have got the letter out, but I don't have. Yeah. I asked people, can you write to your MPs and ask them? Let's just get the ball rolling here a little bit, because we want to. Me and Kaz Clark were going to set up a petition for disclosure. Not to set up an office to investigate, not to ask anyone now to take reports and investigate or do detailed analysis, to start telling us everything you know. Because we're at that stage now where we know these things are real. Because in America, you're saying it. In other places, and as much as many people don't like Russia, they have a sort of disclosure thing going on. I mean, I'm sorry what's going on with Ukraine. I mean, I wish it never happened, but I don't think we make those decisions. But the point is, in the UFOs, when it comes to like, the stigma's over now. We can. People are aware. We're ready. There's no need for secrecy. Would you be interested in looking at it? And they just go, no. Nope.
And that's such an ignorant stance. And
you
know what? History won't be kind to the history won't be kind to those who won't take risks, bold action, and chances. That's a lot of people complain about living in the United States, but not me. I think it's as far as that goes. I have my complaints, but I still think that we're at the forefront of almost all industry. So I like it here.
Well, we were talking about before. Let me think about the bodies of water. Now, there have been other cases that I mentioned. I'm not going to waste more time on them, but there's one called Night of the Triangles. That was a free triangle craft that was seen going through all of Wales, from south to north, and then headed out to Liverpool, off the coast of Liverpool or Blackpool or something, or maybe both. I don't know. Anyway, that part of England. There have been many things seen coming out of the sea in North Wales. Mm-hmm. I've got a lady now who sent me something about a craft that looked like a V-shaped craft, and it looked like how can I describe it? Like boxes, curved boxes put together, in a sort of V formation. And she's telling me she saw something up there, and I'm just trying to get some more evidence and things about that. The point is, there are people like myself who believe. I can't say I can confirm this, but we are very strong on the idea now that there's an underwater base of some kind out to the north part of Wales, which is why the sightings are so freaking numerous, right, and why so many people are seeing them out at sea, going in or out or up or down around that area. So, yeah, if I can just ask you to do something, this is going to tie in lovely with this. Slide 43.
All right, yeah, and I just got to wrap up in a moment.
How long do we have?
I have probably another 5 minutes because I got to make it to her by 4. So slide 43.
This is Gary Rowe. He's an investigator, UFO investigator of many decades. Probably one of the best ones I've encountered. Very knowledgeable. Should be getting, I don't know whether he wants to say time. This is called Europe's Roswell UFO Crash at Aberystwyth, which is in the area around the Berwyn Mountain I told you about. That thing on the Gary Rowe was told about some debris in some farmland or whatever, and that he went and got his team together to look, but the military had been there, covered it all up, cleansed the area, like so many UFO cases I've come across. Yeah, but he did find. He thought, well, as quick as they may have been and as efficient they may have been, they couldn't have got it all. And he found those pieces right there. And according to his documentary, which was done by Mark Ollie, I've never met the guy, but he did a good job on this. I liked it. There's a book coming out on it as well, actually. There's supposed to be a lot more. But those pieces he recovered there, he says, I mean, those are my photographs of it. He says that large piece is like something on an aircraft, but the paint is very aerodynamic and advanced. And it's like, why aren't we covering our aircraft, military or even commercial, in this thing? It's so aerodynamic and incredible.
Right.
A silvery piece, I believe he said it's like tinfoil, but it's so strong, you couldn't hurt it with a hammer. And that polystyrene bit there in the middle, in the bottom left, that's again, it's like a honeycomb sort of style.
Right.
And you can, it's so light, it's like polystyrene, but you can stand on it and hit it with something heavy, apparently. And I say apparently because I've never seen him do it. But I mean, I don't have any reason to disbelieve this man.
The
Apparently, that is incredibly strong material. That's physical evidence he found of something.
The aluminum, it really intrigues me because we hear about that in Virginia, we hear about that in Roswell, we hear about that in so many cases where there's this metal where it's almost like aluminum, but it's like indestructible, and
It's got tremendous strength for something so
yeah,
solid, well, for what appears to be quite light.
Exactly. So, listen, Gary, I would love to have you back because I know we only had a limited amount of time today, but I would love to have you back to talk about the other incident, the Penn Turk incident. If you'd be on board with that, we could do that sometime in the next month or so. And I'm not joking. If you ever need help on anything, I went to film school and I have a plethora of stuff. So I'd love to. I'm trying to get more boots on the ground and make more videos that are like docu style, and start off by putting them on YouTube, but then hopefully selling them, selling them as full feature length documentaries. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll just say, Denbigh Lights. I think everyone can now see. That's a pretty. I mean, I call it a truthful argument for the existence of UFOs, not because I'm looking to prove it. I'm just saying if you're pointing to someone who's just getting into this or says, okay, a skeptic even now, show me a case that actually does that, then there you go.
There you go.
That's what it is right there.
Yep.
So
beautiful.
It's available on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle, audiobook as well. Some people like to listen. All prices are available on that site. I'll make the links available to you. So if people are interested, please, I'm trying to get the sales up. I'm trying to get this case out there. It's hard work, especially with Christmas and money being tight in everyone's wallets and purses and everything. But yeah, if you could leave a review, if you've ever written it or read it, if you've ever read it, yeah. No, that was my job. But yeah, just leave me a like and a review. It'd be great.
Yeah, and like I said, all the descriptions will be in the all the links will be in the description below. Not all the descriptions will be in the links below because that doesn't make any sense. So we want to thank you, Gary, for being on the show tonight, and we really look forward to having you on in the future to talk about more. Guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe. And join our membership on YouTube. It really helps support the show. Again, we are a viewer, listener supported show. So if you can send a super chat or super like, super sticker, I don't know, it's so many different things. And if you can afford to lend a hand, we would love it. But if you can't afford to, like Gary said, our wallets are tight. Sharing the show is free. Leaving reviews are free. And liking and engaging with the video is free. So please do that. It helps us reach a broader audience and gets this story told to more people. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will be exploring the mysteries of the unknown together again with Gary very, very soon.